Hey, good morning, y'all. Welcome to episode 2 of Life is Better with a Cigar. Today we are going to be checking out the Rojas breakfast tacos. I think that's backwards on the camera. You probably can't read that. But anyway, it smells really good. It smells... I'm definitely getting some of that dried fruit sweetness, but I'm getting more of that woody scent in the background, like that cedar scent. So right off the bat, I'm giving it like a 7.5. 7.5 on the aroma. Pretty excited about this one. Again, my Hammersmith Deep V cutter. Maybe if I keep saying their name enough, they'll send me some free shit. You know what I mean? Look at that V. That's a beautiful thing. And then this is a little bit smaller than the Del Maduro I did the other day, but okay, so right off the bat, I'm getting that cedar. I am something darker too. Can't pinpoint quite what it is, but yeah, so I'm getting cedar, but I'm also getting something darker. It's gonna take me a minute to figure out exactly what that is. I'll for sure keep you updated, obviously. Anyway, so I was going over my video from the other day, over episode 1, and you know, because like any elite athlete such as myself, you got to look over the game day video to see how you can improve, right? And overall, number one, I hate the sound of my own voice, but I think that's a problem for everybody. I think everybody hates the sound of their own voice. Really not shit I can do about that. I really like that, whatever it is. Anyway, but the second thing I took away is I wasn't nearly as awkward as I thought I was going to be. Like, don't get me wrong, there was definitely some awkward moments. There's no getting around that. But it was easier than I expected it to be. Not nearly so awkward. But I also came to the conclusion that y'all are going to see my work shirts at some point anyway. You know, pretty regularly, since I am technically driving back and forth to different appointments at work right now, and while I'm doing these videos. So, boom. I don't really care anymore about whether or not you know who I work for. It is what it is. Other than that, I don't know, man. The draw is a little bit tighter than I like. Like, not enough to complain about, but it's a little bit tighter than I like. Seems to be... I like the torpedo shape, to be honest with you. I feel like it burns more evenly, because it's burning pretty even right now. I like the torpedo shape. So it was suggested to me that one of the criticisms the constructive criticisms that I was given was to try to make these videos shorter, which I understand, because some of the longer or some of the bigger cigars, it's gonna take like an hour and a half to get through it, you know, unless I'm sitting there chain smoking it, and that'll just fuck up the flavor and all of that nonsense. I don't want to do that, but I am going to start editing these videos a little bit as soon as I can figure out how, you know what I mean? But I know the longer or the bigger cigars take longer to smoke. It is what it is. But at the same time, I know that y'all don't want to watch an hour and a half of me. So I have taken that under consideration. I will be editing relatively soon, but it's going to be a minute. So until then, they're going to be the length that they're going to be. It's like a dark caramel almost. You know, like when you have caramel it's dark enough that it's almost burnt. It's not quite there. It doesn't have that burnt bitterness to it, but it's almost there. Like, that's kind of what I'm getting through from this. It's not super sweet, and it's definitely got that cedar taste, but I'm getting like that deep, like those dark caramel notes in there, and I like it a lot. I don't know who makes these Rojas. I'll have to look into that, and I'll do a quick Google search and put that in the description of this video. But I like it. The tasty breakfast taco. So I told you earlier I was looking through my or watching that last video, and I told the story about the Philippines. But so on that same deployment, so I was on the 31st MEU, which is MEU, Marine Expeditionary Unit. Basically what we did was we got on a ship and we were Ubered around by the Navy to different countries, and we did training with that country's, like, we basically did war games with that country's military. Keeps everybody on their toes, etc., etc. So we left from Okinawa, Japan, the 31st MEU. We boarded the ship in Okinawa, Japan, and then we went to Thailand, the Philippines, and Australia. So that was a fun trip. You call it a booze cruise, or most people call it a booze cruise, because there's really no serious fighting, right? Like, when you show up, you do the war games and things, and you spend a couple of weeks out in the field. But after that, it's pretty much, you get a few days out in the town in that country, and shit gets crazy. We went to Thailand first, and we spent, I don't remember, it was fucking 10 years ago. More than 10 years ago. But, so we, it was me and 3 of my buddies. We went out in Thailand, and we're walking down, or we're in Pattaya Beach, Pattaya City, Pattaya Beach, and that place is fucking crazy. Like, if you're not careful, Thailand will leave a deep, dark stain on your soul. In a good way, unless you're married, then it's in a not so good way. But anyway, so we're in this bar. We've already been cut loose on Libo. We're out. We're doing our thing, having fun out in town. And we get to this. We're in this bar. It's like, I don't know, 10 a.m. So we're fucking hammered already. Walking down Walking Street, which it's just lined with. It's definitely the party / tourist area, because it's just lined everything you can see with massage parlors and bars. So it's not the place you take your wife and kids, is what I'm saying. So we're in this bar, and honestly, in that area of Thailand, I can't speak for all of Thailand, right? Obviously, but in that area of Thailand, if you've got the money, you can pull any girl you want, or any dude. Honestly, like, you could pull anybody you want if you've got a little bit of American money, or you could at that point back in 2009-ish, 2008 maybe. Alright, that caramel note is starting to evolve. I'm still getting cedar, but I feel like the caramel is kind of evolving into like a dark roast coffee almost. Like, that's not exactly it, but let me marinate on that for a little bit. I like it. I just can't pinpoint it. Anyway, so we are we're in Thailand. Alright, one thing that I'm not going to do, though, over the course of this series, is I'm not going to name other people's names, right? That's not my place to drop other people's names on the internet. So I'm going to name, let's see, that group. We'll go Alpha, Bravo, and Zulu are the people I was with. So anyway, we're in this bar. It's like 10 a.m. We're hammered, and Zulu, he's looking around. He's like, man, like, I'm gonna try to pull one of these girls. And we've got a little bit of American money, so we're like, fuck, you go for it, dude. Do what you got to do. And so, there's hotels around that rent by the hour or whatever. Again, none of us were Girl Scouts at that point, but we were used to some sketchy shit every once in a while. Maybe playing in the gray zone instead of black and white. But anyway, so he's like, man, I'm gonna pull one of these girls. So we're looking around, and he's like, that one. she doesn't speak real good English, and he doesn't speak Thai at all. So they're doing like hand gestures and all of that, and she's being real quiet, like you know what I mean, like trying to be all giggly and shit. And she's like, you want? He's like, no, that's not what I want. And then, so she's like, you want? And he's like, no, that's not what I want. Like, how much for all? How much for all? And like, she looks right at him. She goes, I don't do all. Like this deep ass voice. I don't do all. And we're like, oh shit. So we're looking around, like that sobered us up real fucking quick. So we're looking around, and like we're looking around with more clear, sober eyes now. We're like, oh shit, like you're a dude. Like we've been sitting here drinking in this bar, you know, and like, oh shit, like there is not a single woman in here. These are all dudes. And I'm not hating on the trans community or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like, you do you, whatever makes you happy, as long as you're not hurting anybody else. But fuck, that sobered us up real quick. That is the same trip in Thailand. While we were still doing the war games, good old Zulu, he got bit by a monkey. Had to get a series of rabies shots in his stomach. Fucking guy. So we're on patrol, and we're on patrol through this like real rural area in Thailand. Down this, like, calling it a goat trail would be generous, right? So there's houses, but it wasn't suburban by any means. So we're on patrol, and we pass by this house, and there's a dude sitting out front next to between his house and the goat trail. I can't place that flavor, but for a small cigar, that's holding its ash really well, and holding the cherry really well. Anyway, so we're on patrol. We're walking down this goat trail, and this guy's sitting there. He's sitting there in this like folding chair, and he's got a monkey on a leash. I don't know enough about monkeys to tell you what kind it is. Really, all I know is what VeggieTales taught me. If it doesn't have a tail, it's not a monkey, even if it's got a monkey kind of shape. If it doesn't have a tail, it's not a monkey, and if it's not a monkey, it's an ape. So that's the extent of my knowledge. But anyway, so this guy's got this small monkey on a leash, and Zulu, he's looking over and he's like, hey, you know, can I pet the monkey? Like, it's a cute monkey, can I pet it? And I don't know if the guy didn't really understand him, or it was misinterpreted or whatever, but he was like, yeah, sure, go ahead, you know, whatever, through gestures, do what you gotta do. And so Zulu, he goes over and goes to pet the monkey, and that monkey immediately bites the shit out of his hand, like sinks its fucking teeth deep into his hand, and he like cocks back and punches the shit out of the monkey. We got to take him back to ship. He had to get stitches and shit, and then he had to get a bunch of rabies shots in his stomach. Good times. So see, those are the the times that I miss, right? Like, I don't miss all the bullshit, hurry up and wait nonsense, but so I'm getting more creamy, like leather type notes now. Not really tasting that dark I'm still getting a little bit of that dark, like, coffee caramel flavor, but that's mostly faded. I'm still getting like that cedar leather creaminess. I tell you what, I'm enjoying this quite a bit. The one, the previous one that I did in episode 1, that Victor Sinclair Double Maduro, that was pretty one note, right? But this is, it's not, this is keeping me interested. And that's what I appreciate about you. Where was I? So you got bit by a monkey. Good old Z. I got a bunch of stories about that fucking guy. So, that same deployment, we went to Australia, right? And, man, we pretty much went out in the same group everywhere we went. So it was me, Alpha, he's about a 4-foot Mexican dude, coolest guy ever, love that guy. Bravo, he's a relatively, he's probably an average size white dude from Colorado, but he's got no chin. It's like bottom lip, neck. It's great. And then Zulu, good old Z. He's a shorter, scrappy white dude from the Midwest. But anyway, yeah, so we're in Australia, and can I just say that if we, as you know, speaking as the United States, if we ever went to war with Australia and it was on their home turf, if they had home court advantage, we were in Australia fighting Australians, we would lose. We would 100% lose. The only way we would pull that off would be air superiority. But if it was ground fighting, we'd lose. We were walking through, doing another patrol through the woods and shit, and we're looking around like we're taking it serious. You know, there's war games, we've got national pride on the line, blah, 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 blah. We're trying to show these Australians what's what, you know? And we're looking around and fucking, like, we're paying attention. We're not just half-assing it. And we're chilling, not really seeing anything, you know, whatever. And then all of a sudden you blink and Australians are popping out of the fucking trees, and we're surrounded. We're surrounded, had no idea about any of these fucking people were around. They're chameleons, that's a fucking fact. I like it. I like it. They're fucking chill. Super cool guys. But we'd lose. We would lose quickly if it was ground fighting. Just because we'd never see them coming. Z. So that fucking guy. Where were we? We were in Cairns. So we went to Cairns and we went to Brisbane, and both those places are fucking cool. We spent like 3 days or 4 days in each city. And so again, it's like 10:30 a.m. We're completely smashed, wandering down the street in Cairns, and we're crossing the street, right? Crossing the road. We're in the crosswalk and everything, being smart about it. And there was I don't know where you're watching from, but I'm sure you have them somewhere around. They've got those. It's like waist high, sometimes a little higher than your waist. The concrete pillars that kind of block off. Sometimes they block off parking lots. Sometimes they block off, loading dock areas, whatever. It's basically blocking off an area where you're not supposed to be driving. It's pedestrians only. Blah blah blah, whatever. Or like you can't turn down here. Fucking whatever. They're probably, I don't know, a foot in diameter, maybe 8 inches, somewhere in there, 8-10 inches, and they're about a little higher than waist high. So anyway, we're all fucking hammered, and we're walking down, and good old Z, he runs up to one, and he hops up. He hops up, puts one hand on top of it, hops up, and gets both of his feet on top of it as well. So. And then puts out one hand. He's doing like the Spider-Man pose, right? He like crouched down on top of this thing, doing the Spider-Man pose, just being goofy as shit. And fucking one of his feet slips off, and he comes straight down and crushes his sack. Just crushes the shit out of his nutsack on the top of this fucking pillar. And immediately falls over sideways. Like, hits the ground. He can't breathe for a second because he hit it so hard, and I am laughing my nuts off. Fucking, I gotta slow down. She was hilarious. Good old Z doing a Spider-Man pose, crushed his fucking sack. Damn it. Alright, so that held it for like half the fucking cigar before it finally ashed. And now I got ash all over my pants, so that's a little bit frustrating. Whatever. And it's not a perfect line or anything, but it kept it relatively even burn. Right? So, Mr. Rojas breakfast taco. I like it. I've heard from some cigar people that you're only supposed to smoke it down to the wrap. Now, whether that's proper or not, I say fuck that. Mostly because I paid for it. I'm not goddamn Bill Gates. And I'm not saying that this is an expensive stick or anything like that, but I paid for it. And I'm going to smoke it till I can't smoke it no more, as long as I'm enjoying it, right? So the leather has kind of faded, right? And I'm not really tasting that darker caramel coffee note anymore. It's getting creamier, and there's something else that I can't immediately identify. It's pleasant for sure, but it's like, God, I can't put my finger on it. Like a floral, my palate is not particularly dialed in. Not very developed is the word I was looking for. Thank you. So I could be completely misreading this. Like, I am still new to this hobby, and I'm still learning. All I can give you is my personal opinions on this, right? But yeah, it's getting more floral. Which I'm really enjoying. Also, it's getting kind of fucked up, so I'm gonna need to touch it up. Now this is a smaller lighter, a Zycar. I don't know what model it is or anything like that, but it's a 3 torch rather than a 4, which I'm only trying to touch it up. I'm not trying to start a goddamn forest fire like with the other one. But so I really like this lighter too. I got this one and the Hammersmith. I got them both from cigarpage.com on sale, on special. This one's got the little Cigar Page monkey on it, which is cool. So it loses points for me having to touch it up. Other than that, man, I really like this little breakfast taco. I dig it. Ooh, a little pepper there. Yeah, so I'm getting more, definitely a floral note of some kind, and like a herbal note. It's interesting. Definitely evolving in ways I wasn't expecting, and I really appreciate it. I'm enjoying this quite a bit. So it's definitely getting much higher marks for the flavor than the previous one did. And what I say, it was 7.5 for the smell, for the aroma. I stand by that. Composition, it's holding the cherry really well. It didn't fray or crack or anything like that when I clipped it. It's not coming unrolled. It's holding the I already said it's holding the cherry real well, and the ash, it held the ash really well. But I did have to touch it up because it was burning a little bit unevenly. So I'll have to marinate on that and see what my final rating for composition is. And like I said, the draw is a little tighter than I like, but still, it's not hard by any means. Man, we hit the casinos and Cairns. I made a shit ton of money there. I mean, well, a shit ton of money for me at the time, you know, relatively. It wasn't thousands or anything like that, but I hit, I was playing the roulette. Well, I love roulette, man. But I was playing roulette, and I came up like $750 over the course of that weekend. I mean, shit, it covered our bar bill. It was a good time. Man, there's a lot of cops down this highway. And I got a heavy foot anyway, at least according to my driving record. So, cruise control is one of my best friends on this job, I gotta be honest with you. Alright, so I am gonna, moving forward, I know that first video was like an hour and a half long, which is excessive. So I'm gonna work on keeping it to under an hour, which is sometimes gonna take some creative editing, especially with the bigger cigars. But I really hope you've stuck with me so far. I'm having a good time doing this. You know, I'm excuse me. I'm having a good time with this whole YouTube thing. I said that we hit the casinos there in Cairns. Bravo. Man, that guy almost got punched in his non-existent chin in that casino. Cause me and Zulu, we were raking it in at that roulette table, man. And A and B, Alpha and Bravo, man, they were off in different areas of the casino, doing their own thing, making their own money. And I guess they got bored, or whatever, started losing all their money. So they wandered up to see what we were doing. And as soon as B walked up to that roulette table that I was standing at, I immediately started losing. I was like, you motherfucker. Because I was up, I want to say I was up like $2,500 at that point. I was having a good old time. And I was on a hot streak, man. Me and Z both, we were on a hot streak. And as soon as B walks up, as soon as Bravo walks up, man, we start losing money. I lost in the 10 minutes that he was standing there. I lost like $1,500. Like, you motherfucker. That's when I cut my losses. I was yeah, like I said, I came up like $750 or $800 or something over the course of that trip, but it would have been a lot more had he not walked up and stole all my luck. Bastard. But it's like I said, it still covered our bar tab for that weekend without me actually having to come out of my pocket. So I can't complain too much, you know what I mean? So Z, man, I've got so many stories about that guy. That same trip, that same deployment in Australia, right? I think we were in Perth at this point. He had just gotten word that one of his buddies in the unit that I wasn't necessarily super tight with But one of his buddies was about to get married, you know, when we got back home off deployment, and they were trying to figure out what their best man, or who their best man was going to be. And Z was in the running for that. But they had to do, in order to prove their worthiness or whatever to be best man, they had to do this scavenger hunt type bingo card type situation. And then whoever got a certain amount of tasks done first, they'd end up being the best man or whatever. So we're running around with Z. We're trying to get him these tasks done, right? And one of the tasks, you know, there was easy ones like chug a beer with a local, and you know what I mean, like take a picture with a fucking bar girl or whatever. But one of them, he was like, man, I'm gonna prove my dedication. I'm gonna prove that I'm worthy to be this best man. So one of the tasks was to get a full Brazilian wax. And that's good. I really like this. I don't have any more comments at the moment about the flavor, other than what I've already said, but this is fucking tasty. I really like it a lot. Anyway, where was I going with that? Oh, so Z has to get this full. He's like, man, I'm gonna prove myself. I'm gonna get this square filled in. I'm gonna get this checked off the list. So we went, and first we had to find a parlor that would do waxes on dudes, right? Because most of them at that point anyway, like we've got, as a society, we've gone more metrosexual, I guess. And I guess it's not really, they don't really think twice about it most of the time now. But at the time, and especially where we were, like it wasn't necessarily done. You know what I mean? So he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna get this done. So we find this waxing parlor, and we talk to the lady. It's like 6 p.m., right? And she's getting ready to, no, I lied. We found the parlor earlier in the day, and she's like, she was super cool. She was like, you know what, like I've got appointments for the rest of the day, but if you come back, like as we're closing up, I'll hook you up. Like we had talked to her, yeah, like I'm trying to get this done. I'm not just some weirdo, like I'm trying to check off this box for a specific reason, whatever. And she was on board. She was like, fuck it, let's do this. So she was like, come back at 6 when we close up, and I'll take care of it. We'll get it done off the clock, right? And she was like, yeah, I'll charge you, I think it was like $50 or something. And so we were like, all right, let's do this. So I've definitely got pictures somewhere on one of my old phones or on one of my old cameras or something. I've got pictures somewhere. See, because of course we can't let him go through this shit alone. So there, all 4 of us plus this waxing lady, we're all in this back room, and we've got no shame. We've been together for long enough that we've all seen each other's junk fucking more than once, right? Changing, and half of us were rooming together, and we've been stuck in berthing on ship, coming out of the shower, blah blah blah. So this is, being naked around each other is nothing new. Man, it's still holding its ash really well. Anyway, so she's in back, and she's like, first of all 4 of you people back here is fucking weird. And we were like, I mean, it is what it is. We gotta make sure, we gotta record this for posterity, right? I'm just smashing. I need to slow down again. Anyway, yeah. So we're all in this back room, and he's spread eagle, like from the waist down. He's completely naked, laying on this table, and she gets the wax spread and everything, and she takes that first yank, and he fucking screamed. Oh man, that shit was awesome. And like he's trying not to, but like you could see his eyes tearing up. And like he looks into the camera, and I forget exactly who was getting married, but he looks into the camera and he's like, dude, if I don't get the best man status after this bullshit, he's like, I'm gonna show up drunk as shit to your wedding, and I'm telling everybody everything. Like, I'm telling all the secrets, right? He's just making all kinds of threats and shit. And so she gets the front done, and he's fucking crying. Like, he's not sobbing or anything like that, but his eyes are just fucking streaming tears. And she's like, all right, the front's done, we gotta get the back now. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? So she's like, yeah, man, you're trying to get the full, you're trying to get trying to prove your dedication or whatever, right? Like, we gotta get the whole shit. So she makes him put his knees back like to his ears, and she's trying to get his whole crack, and she rips that fucking strip of wax off, and he's like openly crying now. And the shit, man, I don't remember if he got best man status for that anyway. I think he did, but God, that was the funniest shit I had ever seen up to that point in my life. He was, let's see, he was probably early 20s at that point. Yeah, because I was probably 23-ish, 22, 23-ish, and he was a year or two younger than me. So he's like 20, 21, maybe 22 years old. And then I'm a year or so older. And fucking grown man who prides himself on being this fucking tough, I'll fight anyone and anything, fucking always in the gym, fucking gym rat guy, openly crying because he just got his asshole waxed. Funniest shit ever. Damn it. Alright, so it ashed again. Once again on my pants, which is frustrating. But I guess I should expect that at this point, being in the car and whatnot. This was really good. So this Rojas breakfast taco cigar, very tasty. All right, smell, or the aroma, it's getting a 7.5. I stand by that rating. For flavor, I'm giving it I'm gonna give it an 8. 7.5. I'll give it 7.5 for flavor as well. Just because I can't go top of the top right off the bat, right? But I'll give it a 7.5 for flavor. I appreciate the fact that it kept evolving and getting more complex, right? This was a very, very enjoyable cigar. Stayed creamy pretty much the whole way through. It wasn't harsh or anything like that. I I wish it was a little bit more like peppery, a little bit more spicy. But that's really the only criticism that I have. I apologize that my palate's not developed enough to identify some of the more complex flavors in it, but they were definitely there. I liked it quite a bit. So 7.5 for aroma, 7.5 for flavor. For the composition, I appreciated the fact that it didn't crack or crumble or anything when I clipped it. It kept the cherry really well. It kept the ash really well. It didn't unravel or anything like that. It was a pretty good draw. A little bit stiff on the draw, but nothing to complain about. But like I said, it lost a little bit because I had to touch it up. It was burning a little bit unevenly. For the composition, I'm gonna give it I'll give it a 7 for composition. Right. Very enjoyable. Alright, so 7 for composition, and then 7.5 each for flavor and aroma. That's 15, 20, 22 out of 30. What's 22 divided by 3? 7.3. Oh shit. Garbage can in the way. So 7.3. Like 7.333. So I'll bump it up, round it up. 7.4. Sorry. My brain doesn't like to math anymore. But 7.4 out of 10 for this Rojas breakfast taco cigar. Very enjoyable. Anyway, again, thanks for watching. I appreciate you sticking around. I promise I will get better at editing, and as my palate develops, I'll be able to give you more detailed descriptions of what I'm tasting, what I'm smelling, etc. As always, like the video, subscribe to the channel. That does nothing but help me out and let me know I'm actually talking to people instead of talking to myself. And thanks for watching. See you next time.